Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pro Tour Talk with Steve Dodge. I'm Steve Dodge. Today is July 18th, 2018. Today we've got a different format. I failed to connect and get the interview portion set up, so that section is not going to happen today. I think I'm good today. Thank you, Boda. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through the news of the week, and then I'm going to go through a commentary piece that I put together about how disc golf and golf compare and what their trajectories are. And then we will talk about the upcoming Idlewild Open. And then I will go into listener questions. So if you have listener questions, feel free to enter those at any time. And then we'll be able to run through and get to that, hopefully pretty quickly. So the first thing we should do at the Discraft Great Lakes Open, we had some super chatters on the last day. And so we have another pair of Keene shoes to give away. And let's see, we've got $161 that was entered, which is 2 pair of Keene shoes. And it looks like we already gave away 1 pair of Keene shoes. So I will go to random.org. I wonder. That's interesting. I'm gonna try something new here. Oh, it doesn't matter because you can't see. You guys don't see the list anyway. All right. So anyway, let me generate a random number, 100 to 161. The number 142 has come up, which means it's somebody who gave money in the super chat on the last day, and in fact, it is Adam Uhrig. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Adam Uhrig, you can go to dgpt.com/winner and give us your pertinence, and we will get you a pair of Keene shoes. So, Seth, if you're watching, please remind me to put that in the broadcast for the Keene shoes super chat that Adam Uhrig was the winner of the last broadcast. That's a little better. And a little goop on my, what is that called? Camera. All right. So the next thing we need to run through, the UDisc live numbers were off a little bit at the last time we did this, and they have since corrected them. They were if the event you were dropping, I think, was the most recent event, it was failing to drop, but that has since been fixed. And let's now go to the 2018 Disc Golf Pro Tour points standings. And remember, the top, on the men's side, the top 8 players get a bye into the semifinals. 9 through 16 get a bye into the quarterfinals, and 17 to 32 get an invite to the Tour Championship. So 32 players invited to the Tour Championship, guaranteed payout of $500 just for playing. First prize, if you win the whole thing, $7,500. So if you're in the top 8, that's basically $3,750 per round for 2 rounds. That's a lot of money per stroke. If there's anybody that wants to do some math, let's assume they shoot 54-54. That's 108 throws for $7,500. That's going to be somewhere around $65 to $70 per throw. Maybe the highest payout per throw in disc golf history, but maybe not. So anyway, in first place, we've got Paul Macbeth with 414 points. Not only that, but Ricky Wysocki is missing Idlewild. And so he's going to have 2. Those will be his 2 drops, which means he's got a 13th place that he's got to try to overcome in the last 2 events if he wants to be the points champion. Paul Macbeth has 414 points. Ricky Wysocki, 388. Eagle McMahon, 312. James Conrad, 284. Garrett Gerthy, Drew Gibson, Jeremy Colling, and Eric Oakley round out the top 8. Nate Sexton, who is playing Ledgestone in the MVP Open, is 7 points behind Eric Oakley and 14 points behind Jeremy Colling. So he'll be looking to make a move. And Grady Shue, who has carded a 62nd place at Waco, Besides that, his worst finish is 13th, the same as Ricky and Paul. So Grady Shue got a 6th at the Memorial, an 8th at the Utah Open, a 5th at the Great Lakes Open, Discraft Great Lakes Open. He is definitely one to watch. Kevin Jones also doing very well. Tied Grady Shue at the Utah Open and got a 7th at the Discraft Great Lakes Open. So two young guns, actually very interesting, right in front of Johnny McRae, the ageless wonder, and right below him, Colton Montgomery. So lots of old and new names right there in that from the 10 to 13 spot. Rounding out the top 16, Simon Lizotte, Austin Hannum, and Seppo Payu. Seppo does not have any more events through the rest of the season. It'll be interesting to see if that 162 points will be good enough to keep him in the top 32 to qualify for the Tour Championship. And then on the women's side, the top 4 women get a bye into the semifinals, and then 5th to 12th will qualify for the Tour Championship. Those 8 players will play, and 4 of them will advance to play the top 4 ladies in the semis. In first place right now, very interesting with Paige Pierce not being at the last 2 events. Oh, they haven't calculated in the second drop. That's why this is interesting. Sarah Hokum right now is in first place with 414. Paige Pierce is 380. Katrina Allen 370, and Jessica Weiss 361. Pretty darn tight at the top. Realistically, if you're on the women's side, you want to be in the top 4. On the outside looking in, Lisa Fakis, Walker, and Rebecca Cox. And then 9th through 12th is Kona Panis, Paige Bjerkes, Jennifer Allen, and Courtney Cannon. Paige Bjerkes has one more event, and then it looks like she is not going to be playing Ledgestone and MVP, as she probably heads back to college in Emporia. And then Tina Stenitis is on the outside. She's in 13th, 6 points behind Courtney Cannon. And she and Courtney are both registered for the last 3 events and will be looking to overtake Jennifer Allen to push Jennifer out of the top 12. That's going to be their goal. And if that happens, that'll be very interesting and good for both of them. Jennifer's not playing the last 3, so those ladies need to get 20 points in the last 3 events. And then what was the other? Oh, I wanted to look at these, see if I can do some quick math for us. Sarah Hokum at 414 points. When she gets her second drop, it'll be the Memorial, which is 60 points. So after that drop, she will have 354 points. My bad. And Paige Pierce, her second drop will in fact be the Great Lakes Open. Oh yeah, the Discraft Great Lakes Open. So where Sarah Hokum will have 354 points, Paige Pierce will have 380. And then Katrina Allen will be dropping a 6th place, so she will have 310. And then Jessica Weiss will be dropping a 7th place, so she will actually be losing 3 more points. So she'll have 304 points or something like that. So she'll be 6 points behind Katrina. And so that's where that stands after the Idlewild Open. I believe the Utah UDisc Open guys, UDisc Live guys, will be removing the second event from the standings so that we will know exactly where everybody stands without having Steve do some really wonderful and creative math. So the next thing that I'd love to point out is that we have a new website. Go to dgpt.com and let us know what you think. Some of the exciting changes. First of all, when you go to the tour page, it lists all of the upcoming events at the top. So Idlewild obviously is at the very top, and then Ledgestone and MVP and the Tour Championship. Right below those 4 events are all of the events that have happened previously this season. So the next event listed is the Memorial Championship, but the only things underneath it are results stuff. So you can go to the articles and it'll pull up all the articles for the Memorial Championship. You go to videos and it'll pull up all the videos. and then photos, and then there's one more. Oh, and then scores. So you can do that for all of the events that already happened and find out all the information. The first page of the website lists all of the events, which I think is much more intuitive and gets you the information you want much faster. We've simplified the watch page. It does not have anything except for what is about to be broadcast live. And so that is, you go to that page and you'll be able to watch whatever is about to be broadcast live, which in this case is the Idlewild Open, which goes live on Friday, July 20th. And it goes live the women go live at 2 o'clock, 2 to 3, and then the men go live. Then the Circle Zero show goes live 3 to 3:15, and then the men go off at 3:15. The About tab has been expanded. We now have a page dedicated to our staff, including all of our great writers. We have a page on there about venues and how you can apply to become a venue in the future. With the AMA pages on there. We also have a new page called Organizational Documents. So if you want to go there and see what's our feature card policy or what's our tea time policy, anything like that, feel free to peruse the organizational documents. We also have a link to the payout calculator as well as contact information. The news tab, in addition to having all of our recent news, which I'll go over next, we have the podcast is on there, as well as upcoming podcasts. Because if you subscribe to our profiles with Dixon Jowers podcast, that we release one every week, but we're a few weeks ahead, so you can actually go ahead of the game if you want to go to that podcast section of our website. And then we have press, which is a lot of the good press that people have been giving us. And then we have our media kit, which talks about brand standards and our logos and things like that. Then standings for 2018, 17, 16 is happening. And then we also have a new page, which was hidden on our old page, called Power Rankings. And I'm going to want to go to Power Rankings in just a minute and tell you guys that Eagle McMahon is on top on the men's side. Ricky Wysocki is second, and Paul Macbeth is third. Simon Lazat moved up a little bit, but not enough to catch Paul. And then rounding out the website, we have our fantasy, which if you want to go win prizes, become a Patreon, patreon.com/DGPT, and then shop. And you can go and shop. So those last two tabs are actually great ways to support the tour if that's something that you would like to do. And I appreciate the fact that you're watching, which is a great way to support us as well. And there we have it. So that's the website. Congratulations to the Pro Tour. We have a brand new website, and I'm excited about there we go. I'm excited about making sure that website stays up to date, especially the power rankings and the other new pages. So for the power rankings page, we list who's in top on the men top 25 and the women top 15. We have all of their wins, losses, winning percentage, and how much they've moved up or down from the previous week. Big movers on the men's side this week, Chris Dickerson, who won the event that he played on this side of the pond. I actually don't know the name of the event, but it did have more than 8,000 rated players, so it did qualify. And on the ladies' side, Madison Walker moves up the most. Sarah Hokum moves down a little bit, and Paige Pierce obviously maintains her lead, although it has shrunk quite a bit over the last month and a half. It'll be interesting to see if she can get back into early season form. Closing that down. So now I'm going to go and I'll get to the comments in a little bit, and we'll run through if you have any questions there. But before we do that, I want to talk about the article on our news feeds that says, could disc golf surpass golf and become conventional golf? Nope. Yes, become conventional golf. So I was talking to some friends the other day, and the concept of what should we call golf came up. And I oftentimes will say ball golf, although I've had people who I respect tell me we should just call it golf because that's what it is. I've had other people tell me that we should call it traditional golf or conventional golf. And it was interesting because when they said conventional golf, I thought to myself, actually, we shouldn't call it conventional golf because the way you decide what is conventional golf is it's the type of golf that most people play. And in a few years, that might be disc golf. And by a few years, I mean 10 or 15. So the point of the article is, when will disc golf catch ball golf? And when you look at the growth of ball golf over the last 100 or so years, one thing that you see is that in the 60s and early 70s, ball golf was growing at a rate of close to 400, an average of 400 courses a year. Interestingly, I've heard people compare our sport to ball golf. I should just say golf, to golf from the 50s and the 60s. And it's interesting because that's exactly where we are right now. We're growing at a rate of about 400 courses per year, a little over one a day, which is pretty darn impressive. And this is just in the U.S., just so we know. It's growing very fast overseas as well. But I'm just doing a comparison of U.S. golf courses to U.S. disc golf courses. The other thing that's interesting on the golf side is that golf is actually seeing a decline in the number of courses right now. 10 to 12 years ago, they had 17,000 courses, and right now they are teetering right around 15,000, probably dipped below in the last couple of days. So they're probably at 14,999 right now. Disc golf, meanwhile, has been climbing, as we all know, and the number of courses that go in each year in the United States is right around 400. The number of private courses that's going in each year has gone up in the last 15 years, has gone up from 17% private / pay to play courses to 22% private / pay to play courses. And those courses, those are the courses that are going to make sure they have great signage. They're going to make sure to have good bathrooms. They're going to be clean. The brush is going to be cleaned out. They're going to be fun to play. They're going to be geared towards families, potentially want to have championship caliber courses as well. And those are the courses that are going to push the sport forward and demonstrate that there is profit to be made. And once that's seen, because people are just starting to realize that, once that's seen, disc golf is going to explode. It takes, and we're exploding right now. And what I'm saying is it's going to get crazy. Disc golf course takes probably 50,000 to 250,000 to put in a disc golf course. A golf course takes millions. A disc golf course takes 20 to 50 acres, 20 to 60 acres to put in a disc golf course. A golf course takes twice that, if not more. It's much easier to put in a disc golf course, even a little 9-hole course around a school or in a city park. The number of courses that we see going in the next decade, I could see getting up to 700 a year. 2 courses a day in the United States as the sport continues to take off. There are lots of great pockets for disc golf, but there are lots of areas in the United States that do not have courses, and they are ready to be a part of the cool new sport that is taking off right now. So I anticipate, if you guys just want a straight up simple answer, I anticipate that disc golf will catch golf in the number of courses in the United States somewhere between 2026 and 2034. So the next, whatever, I don't know what year this is, 2018. The next 8 to 16 years, I believe we will catch golf in the number of courses in the United States. The question is, will we catch golf in the number of players? And it seems unreasonable to think that we could close that kind of gap. It's almost a 10-to-1 gap right now, the number of golfers versus disc golfers. But it's not unreasonable. as the sport takes off and as the number of courses continues to explode, we'd have more than double the number of courses we have right now. It's not crazy to think that as those courses come online, the sport becomes more and more well-known and more people start to play it and fall in love with it. So this is realistic. My guess is that in that 8 to 16 year period, when we catch up to golf, we will in fact end up probably about half the number of golfers as at that time as we have now. So if they have 20 million, we'll have 10 million. And then we will just continue to catch up. And in some point in the 2040s, I expect that disc golf will become conventional golf. And there you have it. That's my take on where our sport is headed and all of the exciting stuff that's going on. So now I'm going to go to the chat and we're going to see if we can run through this. I'm going to see if this was pertinent or if just someone just saying hi. Okay. So now we're going to run through. Chasing the Bees. Sup, Steve? Happy days, Mark. Looking forward to seeing the new segment of Chasing the Bees for the Idlewild Open. Thank you very much for all of the great stuff you've done all season. Dana Vici recommended it, and I'm glad that we did it. It's a fun segment and a fun way to start the tournaments. Looking forward to this weekend's tournament 100%. The Idlewild Open is going to be awesome. Last year, Paige Pierce won the women's division pretty easily. Sarah Holcomb coming in second, and James Conrad. It's really interesting. You want to use the euphemism held off a hard-charging Paul McBeth. But those guys were really just going neck and neck. It wasn't until the last 9 holes, I think, that James pulled it forward by a couple. And then on holes 17 and 18, Paul, he gave it everything he had. I challenge anybody, go back and watch the coverage of round 3 at the Idlewild Open last year. Watch Paul McBeth's drive on hole 18. And I would make a bet with anybody, including Dixon Jowers, if he's watching, that nobody on film will outdrive Paul McBeth's drive on 18 last year. There you have it. So, and with that great drive, James Conrad stepped up and said, no big deal. I'm going to get out of the woods in 2 and go up and down, and I'm going to win this tournament. And he did just that. Nice work by James Conrad. Eagle is indeed looking very strong, which is why he is on top of the power rankings. Go to dgpt.com and do a quick search on power rankings. You'll find Eagle. You know what you could also do? You could also do a search on Eagle McMahon. You can find all the articles we've written about Eagle, as well as, I'm going to guess he'd pop up in the, he would definitely pop up in the power rankings as well. I noticed this little Joshua tree up here. Look, I was going to say a whale spout, but shout out to Tina Stenitis. But it's definitely on fire today. And the next event is the Idlewild Open. Discraft Disport says they are looking forward to Ledgestone. The richest event in disc golf for the last 3 or 4 years. I would say many people are looking forward to Ledgestone. And as the penultimate event in the season, it's one of your last opportunities to make a move and get some points. So that's going to be a great event to watch, just like it is every year. We Are Stardust says Eagle will win Worlds. One interesting thing, I've been listening to the Ulti-World podcast. I can't think of the name of it right now. Upshot. And I love their take on Worlds. And is it valid to name a world champion based on just one tournament? I think that's a really interesting question. Or maybe it should be harder to qualify for Worlds, and it should just be the top 32 players, and they could do a bracketed system. I'm just joking. Anyway, but it is an interesting concept as to whether it's valid for Worlds to just be a simple 4 or 5 round tournament, and that person is then considered the world champion. I guess a title is a title. And I'll go in. Here's a fun little story. 2004, Jason Southwick and I built the Marshall Street Disc Golf Championship, named after our fledgling company, Marshall Street. And we named it the Marshall Street Disc Golf Championship, sort of as a reaction to Worlds and the USDGC, which said one division, one champion. I don't remember how we were going to word it, but something along the lines of 16 divisions, one champion. But we wanted it to be the championship of one street inside Leicester, Massachusetts. And so we named it the Marshall Street Disc Golf Championship. And so when you win that event, you're not the champion of the world. You're not the champion of the whole world. You're the champion of this little tiny street in Leicester. And we thought that was really fun. So just sort of a little bit of history for everybody right there. Idlewild Open, love it. Eagle and Macbeth are playing at insane levels right now. That is the truth. Paul Macbeth and his 18 down. How fun was that? Shout out to everybody in Milford, Michigan that was there watching. This was arguably the best round in history. You could say the exact same thing about in my opinion, about the 45 at Maple Hill as another round, which could be the best round in history. I think he missed one hole in that round that I thought maybe he could have birdied that. And then you had the 17 down at Memorial. So those were all Paul Macbeth and all potentially the best 3 rounds in our sport ever. So, tip of the tuft to Paul Macbeth for demonstrating what kind of level our sport can be played at. Fun to watch. Martin Schultz says James Conrad and Paige Pierce will win at Idlewild. Well, actually, he says winning this. I'm presuming Idlewild. That would be an interesting bet. I would actually take the bet that they will not both win. I would not take the bet necessarily that either of them individually would win, but both together I would bet against. I love how some of the staff played Osage Grove weekly doubles. What did they think, Steve? I heard that they were going to play. I did not hear what they thought. Although, wait, if it was, oh no, I think Seth told me that there were 200 or 300 people playing disc golf that night in the area. And I think he said, including the Natty, where Colton Montgomery and Bart, or Colton and Bart were doing a some sort of fantasy doubles thing. But he said there were 3 different things going on, and they were all packed, and it's really exciting because this is an area of the country that, in my opinion, is potentially overlooked. People know Idlewild is there, but they have no idea how big the scene in Ohio and Northern Kentucky is. And you guys are killing it over there. So Daryl Whitaker, Brent Hambrick Memorial, with a question mark after it. I don't know what that means. That is an event that used to be a national tour event. It might be an A tier this year. Might have just, maybe he's saying that's the event that Chris Dickerson won. I don't actually know. I apologize. I just pull the numbers and plug them into the database, and I'm really bad at some things, and I didn't pay attention to what the name of that event was. But I bet somebody down below is going to tell us. Carver G exponential growth, snowball effect. That's really interesting because I know we're just cheering and everything. And right now I'm going to go ahead and be a literalist. We don't have exponential growth. We have consistent linear growth, which maybe is better. When I was with Vibram, the 5 Fingers shoes took off on that hockey stick that everybody loves. The problem is it's hard to maintain that hockey stick growth, and disc golf is, in my opinion, doing a great job of creating sustainable growth, which is even better. We want to be able to tell our sponsors right now, it might be a $20,000 sponsor or a $50,000 sponsor. We are giving you ROI. We have a lot of great fans who love this sport and are absolutely going to support our sponsors. And you guys do. And thank you very much. It's it's part of our pitch. So thank you. And then we take the next step, and you get the $100,000 sponsor, and the next step, and you get the $250,000 sponsor. But as you go, you're building a foundation that's sustainable. If someone came in right now and dropped $1 million on us, I don't think they would get ROI because the audience isn't big enough. So exponential growth, snowball effect. Yeah, those are fun words to throw around. I'm going to go ahead and tamp that down a little bit and say I'd rather have slow and steady, consistent 10 to 20% growth every day of the week or every year of the decade, because that's what we've got, and that's, we know how to handle that, and we're doing really well with that. What will it feel like when you're not present for a DGPT event for the first time? Do you hope it crashes and burns so it can prove how valuable you are? So thank you, Terry Miller, for asking that question. And for those of you who do not know, this is in fact the first event that I will not be at the Idlewild Open. I am up in Maine on vacation with my beautiful daughters and my family.
Yay!
Yeah, there's Audrey in the background and Rachel. And I have been working very closely with Seth and Danielle at each of the last 3 events to minimize what I do on the ground. And if things go well, it's because we've done a lot of planning, and Seth and Danielle, Patrick, Dixon, and Miles, and Terry and crew pulled it together and did everything very well in my absence. And if things don't go well, it's because I didn't do a good job of planning, and I will be back at Ledgestone, and we will work to plan even better. The goal is to make it so that when I show up to events, I don't have to do anything. That hasn't yet been where we are. But every event we get closer and we continue to improve. So it's been really fun to watch this entire process. So thank you for the question, Terry. That was great. Terry, I assume is, it says right there, 102 miles from Cincinnati. That's probably 8 minutes old. So I'm going to guess he's 94 miles from Cincinnati. Let's go. Yeah, I better get here. Hurry up. Ha ha. What do you consider a ball golfer? How frequent do you have to play to be in the statistics? Same for disc golfers. Seems to be more casual players in disc golf. Thanks for everything you do. Barney, I don't know what the actual statistics are for being considered a ball golfer or a golfer. I'm going to guess that the number is somebody who plays once a week or once a month. But when we looked at the numbers, I think it was people who, the average number of rounds played per person was 20 rounds a year, which makes me think it's whatever that is, twice. I guess that'd be 2 rounds every month. So there you go. And I would say we use the same stat for disc golf. And I think it looks like there's more casual disc golfers to you, Barney, because presumably you are a casual disc golfer, and those are the people that you hang out with. So I'm going to guess that there actually are a ton of casual golfers. If there's 20 million golfers in the US, I'm going to guess there are, in fact, 20 million casual golfers, and there's some very small percentage of non-casual golfers who earn a living playing golf or being golf pros at clubs and things like that. Alan Widboom, stoked for this. Alan, it was great to see you on the feature card at the Discraft Great Lakes Open, and I look forward to seeing you there again in the 2nd and 3rd rounds for the Idlewild Open. This is going to be great. Oxygen is an awesome course. Check it out. Yes, thank you, Carver. Not technically exponential. Yes, Terry Miller, as of Friday, you will be at more Pro Tour events than anybody until we let you go. Yeah, Terry is the face of the DGPT. At least he does a better job with his hair. Do I have a financial stake in Terry? In DGPT, Terry? I think, well, Terry is the first person that I turned to when I needed video services. I would say Terry is a integral part of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Yes, Terry makes me money, which is why I'm able to be here up in Maine on vacation. So with that, I'm going to say thank you all very much. This has been a great night. And we're going to just close with a beautiful view of the lake.
And hold up. If you like what he's doing, leave a like. And hit that big bright red subscribe button and hit the bell right beside of it to get notifications when we go live, because I can speak English fluently.
So that was my daughter Audrey, who always reminds me that I forget to remind you that we need to hit the like and the subscribe button and hit the bell. So there you go. There you have it. Everybody have a great night, and we will see you next time.
Bye!